So let's look on this. So let's work on this second example here. This is where, for the first time, our A doesn't equal 1. So let's label our ABCs. Our A is 12, our B is -5, and our C is -2. So we want to find the factors of AC, which is 12 times -2, so -24, that add up to B, which is a -5. So let's go ahead and find some factors of -24. So I've got, what have I got? I got 4 times -6. Okay, that doesn't work. I've got -2 times 12. Okay, that's too positive. How about -8 times 3? That works because -8 plus 3 is -5. And friendly reminder, because my B was negative and my value is negative, and I look for factors of -24 that are going to add up to -5, I'm going to want to have one factor that's negative and one factor that's positive. And if you wanted to make this whole table, you could. It might be helpful for you to practice making these tables quite a bit. So now I've got 12x squared, and I'm going to pull apart this middle term of -5x squared as -8x plus 3x minus 2. Did I do that right? Yes. So let's go ahead and put in our grouping symbols. The greatest common factor of 12x squared and 8x, well, that's going to be a 4x. 4x times 3x gives me 12x squared. 4x times 2 gives me 8x. The greatest common factor of 3x and -2 is 1, and even though that greatest common factor is 1, I still have to pull out a factor of 1. So I've got 1 times 3x minus 2. Both of these are identical, so that means I did this correctly. Good job, us. I'm going to collect my greatest common factors and what they had in common. So our final answer is 4x minus 1 times 3x minus 2. And we're going to skip this third example because we're going to talk about that even further on in the course. So in order to make sure we factor a trinomial completely, the first thing we need to do is pull out the greatest common factor and then factor accordingly. So here I have, in this first example, -3x squared plus 16x plus 12. Well, here, the greatest common factor is going to be a -1, right? Because I've got 16 and 12. 12 has a factor of 3, but 16 doesn't, so I have to pull out a factor of -1. So I have -1 times 3x squared minus 16x minus 12. All I do is flip the signs. Now I need to find the factors of AC that add up to B. AC in this case is 3 times a -12, which is a -36. Ooh. And B is a -16. Remember, we got to label our ABCs after we take out the greatest common factor. So what are some factors of -36 that add up to -16? How about -6 times 6? Well, no, that adds up to 0. Okay, what about -2 times 18? Oh wait, that adds up to a positive 16. How about -18 times 2? So I'm going to use that information to pull apart my middle term. I have -1 times, keep that negative on the outside, 3x squared minus 18x plus 2x minus 12. And now I can factor by grouping. The greatest common factor of 3x squared minus 18x is going to be 3x. So that leaves me with x times minus 6. 3x times x minus 6 plus 2. Greatest common factor of 2x and 12 is 2. So that leaves me with 2 times x minus 6. So I've got -1. I collect the greatest common factors of 3x plus 2 and what they had in common. So this equation fully factors to negative, so we could drop that leading coefficient of 1. We don't really use leading coefficients of 1. 3x plus 2 times x minus 6. And if we were to FOIL this out, we would get back to our original answer. We clear our work and we'll take a look at problem 2. So in this case, I've got 8y cubed minus 12y squared minus 4y. So the greatest common factor is going to be a 4. All of our coefficients have a factor of 4. And then the greatest common factor is going to be y because all of our variable parts have a y. So I've got 4y times 2y squared minus 3y minus 1. Now I'm going to factor by finding factors of a, c that add up to b. A is 2, c is negative 1, b is negative 3. Why did I just do the a, c, b's? I have no idea. So what are some factors of AC, which is 2 times negative 1, so negative 2, that add up to 3? Negative 3. So negative 2 factors into a negative 2 times a 1, a negative 1 times a 2. None of those add up to 3. So now this is fully factored because this is prime, right? We can't simplify anymore. So now it's fully factored after taking out the greatest common factor.